a narcissist will stalk a former victim not because they miss the victim, not because they miss you, but because they miss the things that you used to provide for them. They miss your narcissistic fuel, the attention, the admiration, the validation, the chaos, the drama, the excitement, whatever it is that floated that narcissist boat. As a narcissist rarely discards, and like I've said in all of my videos, there is no final discard. They disengage from their victims. They put them on a shelf. And most of the victims never get the chance to find closure. And this is done purposely because the narcissist will never give closure, leaving a victim more confused and searching for answers for a very long period of time. So every reaction from the victim trying to get closure feeds the narcissist fuel. Any kind of fuel, positive or negative. And here are some reasons a couple of reasons why a narcissist would discard you quickly. One, because they are bored and they possess low levels of a boredom tolerance, and you give them stability while they are still craving intermittent drama and excitement, and they have sucked you dry of all of those things and all of your narcissistic supply. You started raising your voice. This is number two. You started standing up for yourself, calling them out on their actions, calling them out on their cheating, their lying, their manipulations, and asking for that relationship to be a two-way street. That is a one-way street to getting discarded, asking for those things. Basically, the one word you saw, you saw through the mask, and the narcissist realizes this, that facade, and they see this as a threat to their safety. Keeping in mind that narcissists rarely discard in a final sense. There is no final discard. It is just a prolonged silent treatment, and many people confuse this with a discard. They will give you a silent treatment, and sometimes a very, very long one, especially when you call them out on their actions, especially when you catch them cheating. So they do this to punish you by not taking responsibility for their actions. And once you drop the guard down and they know that they don't have any effect on your emotions anymore, they will be back with that grand Hoover trying to rekindle the relationship, dangling the golden period in front of your face. The Hoover might take place from 1 day from now to 1 century from now, and whenever they feel like it, whenever they feel like they could suck you back in, or whenever the new source of supply drops off in their fueling of the narcissist. The golden period, the seduction of this narcissist doles out to every victim is mesmerizing. And as a part of that allure, the narcissist, of course, they will tell you why they chose you with 1,000 different sensual sentences. And some of them may seem over the top and others may make perfect sense to you. But either way, you are giving the basis of understanding of why the narcissist has been drawn to you. They don't tell you the real reasons why they chose you, but they will intermittently provide you with some. Now, the devaluation, on the other hand, is torturous, horrific, and unpleasant. You are absolutely unable to ascertain why you have suddenly been knocked off of your pedestal. You are feeling bewildered, confused, and this only serves to add to your pain. You may have some reasons hurled at you, but they will make absolutely no sense to you. And this by design, to keep you confused and where that narcissist wants you. Reasons are given, but they're not the real reasons, and they will never make sense. So you've been discarded because you have wised up. You've worked it out, usually as a consequence of some external assistance. That the narcissist must provoke you and make you react in an emotional fashion. You may not entirely understand why this dynamic occurs, and you may not realize why it is so important to the narcissist, but you do understand that the narcissist wants you to react, and you have stopped doing so. You have stopped responding, you act in a neutral fashion, and thus deprive the narcissist of their sacred narcissistic fuel. They apply their machinations in a harsher fashion, increasing the pressure to cause you to react as the narcissist feeds off of their secondary sources of narcissistic supply in the meanwhile, but your resistance is substantial. You have not walked away yet, but perhaps you can't because of financial reasons, because of children, or the inconvenience of seeking a new home, but you have turned off the tap of narcissistic fuel or narcissistic supply. And the narcissist realizes that that tap is not going to be turned back on anytime soon. So this will leave them in a weakened state. And that is something that a narcissist absolutely cannot have, because they need this for energy. Narcissistic fuel energizes them, and they must have this energy to find and embed a new primary source, whether you are together or not. So they're going to try to squeeze every last drop of narcissistic fuel from you up until the very end, until you are dropped. A new source could be in place. So the devaluation has commenced, and the narcissist sought out a replacement. This explains the repeated affairs, and now they have settled on your replacement as a primary source of narcissistic supply. He or she has been seduced and embedded into the narcissist supply chain, or the narcissistic harem. They are confident, the narcissist is confident, that this supply is functioning well, pouring positive narcissistic fuel, pouring it out to the narcissist in a reliable manner, and far better than you ever did. They have been fueled by your negative reaction to this, and no longer need any more fuel to energize them. So they don't need to keep you in play anymore now that they have this bright and shiny new plaything. So off, to the dump you go, and they will, don't forget, come back around for that Hoover. But for now, it is adios. In some cases, the narcissist will devalue you because they perceive you as you've become broken. And although it may seem during the devaluation that the narcissist is trying to destroy you, it actually is not the case. Yes, they are driving you downwards through the repeated applications of horrible manipulations, but they do not wish to completely finish you off. Just like somebody's head we are holding underwater, we will let you surface, spluttering and gasping for air by the way of what is known as a respite period, before plunging you into the icy water once again and holding you under for a long period in time. In and out, up and down, push and pull. We will have you bouncing, they say. They will have you bouncing off of the walls, close to the bottom, so close to the bottom, but you will not be completely destroyed yet. But sometimes the narcissist goes too far, and the avalanche of abuse has taken its toll, resulting in the victim becoming broken. The victim is left numb, barely functioning, and sometimes even hospitalized as a consequence of a mental breakdown. They provide no fuel, no reaction, and unlike the first instance that I listed, this is not by choice by the narcissist, but as a consequence of the narcissist's behavior in breaking you. Knowing that you will not provide the narcissist with any more fuel, they will show their callous nature by taking no more interest in your broken state than a complete stranger. And they are off to focus on embedding the new prospect that they have been cultivating behind your back and dropping you. Sometimes major exposure of the narcissist can happen, and a victim may have worked out who exactly the narcissist is at the victim's shock and horror, along with the victim's desire to actually, this is in an empath's nature, their desire to help and change the narcissist means that the empath or the victim will continue to spill out fuel towards the narcissist. That you can still have the knowledge, but you're not using it effectively. So the narcissist may see it as no reason to go elsewhere. The victim may be telling other people about the narcissist's terrible behaviors, but the narcissist, by law, has gotten in and smeared you first. They launched the smear campaign and they have to maintain this facade, this mask. They launched that smear campaign way before you ever found out about narcissistic abuse. So it is business as usual for the narcissist. And occasionally, however, you may outflank the narcissist and manage to tell other people what they are like before the narcissist can do anything about it. But they don't really see anything. There's not much wrong with this. It could be people that they really could give two shits about. So these people can seem incontrovertible. They could have seen this evidence of the narcissist, pants down, cheating, whatever. Admittedly, usually obtained when dealing with a lesser or mid-range type narcissist. And most people would take a victim's side when seeing something like this, as a greater narcissist would not be so careless as to get caught. So the news spreads, and those people that the narcissist thought that they could rely on either turn their back on the narcissist or, even worse, take the victim victim's side, and the facade begins to start crumbling. The fuel has stopped, and the energy required to change people's mind with no guarantee of success is absolutely too great for the narcissist to gamble on. So they would rather they have been exposed in a major fashion. Let's just say that's the situation. And rather than facing the music and allowing themselves to be destroyed, they will drop you like a stone, saddle up, and ride out of town in order to find a new place or a new source of supply who has not heard about who they are yet. Occasionally, a victim will bring their A game. And not only do they know who the narcissist is, the revelations that the victim has been provided with have caused the victim to understand how it is that they can hurt the narcissist. The victim knows how to turn off the tap on a dime, and they know exactly how to obtain the ultimate revenge against a narcissist. And these emotion-free criticisms are launched at the narcissist. These criticisms wound the narcissist repeatedly, burning and hurting them with no way of getting any fuel, positive or negative, from the victim, and they are beaten. You have been well schooled by somebody like me or anybody else, any author, any motivational speaker, wherever it is that you've obtained this information from. It doesn't matter. It matters that you are using it and you are applying these lessons that you have learned and starting to attack the very pillars of the narcissist's existence. They are under a very serious attack, and fighting back is absolutely not an option. They need to flee, and they need to flee quickly. So they don't want you any longer after this, and they know that they cannot succeed at gaining any more fuel at this moment in time. So they retreat, and they retreat promptly. The victim does not want to let them off the hook yet, so the victim will punish the narcissist for what they have done to them. But even still, you will not end that connection. They won't hang around. However, they will discard, and they will retreat so that they can recover and they can replenish that energy that they need to look for more sources of supply, looking to strike back at you later when your guard may be down. Covert narcissists are much more subtle than their overt counterparts, in some way making their actions more insidious. So it's hard sometimes for them to find a replacement intimate partner primary source. And other people can't satisfy their lust for energy in the same way that you do. And this causes massive rage. The victim is and always will be property in the narcissist's eyes. It is also a way of trying to pressure the victim into returning. So sometimes stalking and harassment, they use this as a tool. So you say, okay, I'll get back together with you if you stop harassing and stalking me. And the reality will be a shitload of abuse, way worse than the first time around. So stalking, it's bullying, it's an alternative platform to beginning a smear campaign. And they are not quiet stalkers one way or another. They are always watching. Even if there is a court-ordered ex parte or restraining order prohibiting them from any kind of contact with you, they will cyber stalk you or use flying monkeys to obtain any information they can about you. Nothing hurts a narcissist more than seeing their victims happy and rebuilding their lives.